Hey everybody, this is Kelly. Welcome back to another episode of Ask a Therapist. Today I want to talk to you about something called toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is something that runs rampant in our society, specifically within religious institutions. Here's what I mean. Who among you, when talking to someone who is of a specific religion, has heard,
God helps those who help themselves?
Who among you have heard,
we can't see the rainbow without a little rain?
Or you hear people tell you,
focus on the bright side, look at what's good, don't think about the bad stuff.
All of those things in theory are good. In the area of mental health, one of the things that I do encourage my clients to do is if they find themselves stuck in a swirling pit of negativity, I do encourage them to start to think of things that are positive. Not to ignore the negative, but to remind themselves that everything has balance. The body and the mind and the spirit need balance in order to be at their best. We all seek balance. And when we can't find balance, we seek what is familiar. And so when someone who is not used to dealing with things that are happening in their lives fully and completely, they are going to default to what it is they were taught to do when things were bad. So if you, as a child, your parents were the kind of parents that said,
suck it up,
Grow up.
don't cry,
those kind of things, those from most parents were never meant to be negative, and they were never meant to remove the child's ability to deal with negative things. But that's what they did. And I think it's really important to separate those intentions out from the things that we should have learned in general. But if you heard those things and if you learned those lessons growing up, you are less likely now, unless you've done some work on how to process the negative and the positive. So it's more likely your default is to think, well, if I just don't focus on the bad things, then everything will be okay. It's not true. The things that toxic positivity do, it first of all just sort of flattens the surface of everything and ignores like the stuff underneath, the things that give our lives richness and flavor. It ignores those things because it's too close to negativity, or it's too close to something that might feel hurtful. And we don't know how to process our tears or our fears or our troubles. And so we just sort of like glaze along the top and think,
okay, if I focus on the positives, then things will eventually be okay.
As a mental health professional, there are tricks that I do encourage my clients to do to find balance between negativity and positivity, but never in a way that ignores the stuff that is happening. Because when we ignore the negative things that are happening, we don't ever process them, we don't ever grow. Personal growth, in my opinion, is one of the most important things in life. The ways that toxic positivity hurt you. Number one, it removes your ability to really explore your feelings and the reason for those feelings. You could be feeling a very strong emotion and you could link it to something. In reality, that very strong emotion is linked to something far different that you need to process and move on from in order to not continue to feel that negative emotion. But if you just run over it with, oh, I'm just going to ignore it, or I'm just going to act happy and eventually happy will be real, you never get the chance for that. So that's number one. Number two, encouraging someone to just be positive or just put a smile on to get through the harder things in life rewires our brains to expect that happiness is the goal. I'm not aware of anywhere in anyone's life that their own personal happiness being the goal has actually made them happy. As human beings, we are connected. If we weren't, you wouldn't be on YouTube looking at videos. If we weren't, there wouldn't be, dating apps or people fighting lockdown. The struggle right now is that there's so much negativity that people want to counter that with positivity, which is a noble cause, but unrealistic unless we deal with what positivity actually means. Within a church structure, the idea of just being happy with what we have and being positive about it is an idea that has been used for centuries to keep people not in the majority in line. The idea that not sitting down, smiling, and taking it makes you a bad follower of the religion that you're in is a tool of the majority to keep minority people in line. You should settle for the scraps of positivity that you get because that's all you get. And if you aren't grateful for it, then you have a bad attitude about what God has given you in life. For example, 15-year-old Kelly, you should be grateful for the attention you got, the unwanted and uncalled for attention you got from your male pastor when he told you if he was not 40 years old, he would want to date you and he would leave his wife for you. I'm supposed to then be grateful that he saw me as someone worthy of relationship. That was never okay. But somehow that's how that got handed to me when I told somebody that it happened. I told a leader that had happened. And what they said to me was, oh, he was just trying to pay you a compliment. Don't take it so seriously. It's okay. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming a couple of things. Number one, you also have been hurt by the church at some point. Number two, you are curious about what toxic positivity could have done and how it could have shaped you. And number three, you're watching these videos because there's stories that are told that resonate with you. That's the reason why I'm telling you some of these stories about my life, is because I think that it could be helpful to you to understand that you're not alone. And to understand that sometimes it takes a while for you, for me, for people to get that it's not their fault when someone crosses their boundaries. I didn't do anything wrong there besides be a 15-year-old girl. That's on him. The toxic positivity part comes into it with, you didn't get physically hurt, everything is fine, making a big deal out of it will hurt people's feelings and will get things really messed up. Just look on the bright side and know that you're safe. And I accepted that because I was told to accept that, because if I didn't, then I was not grateful for the things God had given me. And that's just simply not true. It's never okay for someone to lessen your hurt or lessen your emotion in order to make themselves more comfortable or in order to make things more positive. That the idea of that positivity, that toxic positivity, has seeped so far into people's psyche that they are unwilling to allow other people to have their feelings, to have their emotions, and instead we call them names and we shut things down conversationally and relationally without ever understanding that it is your own issues you're bringing into a conversation or an interaction with someone. And your issues with emotions, your issues with yourself, and your issues with the people around you are what's actually making that negative. If more people in our society were more in touch with the range of human emotions, I absolutely believe we would not have most of the problems that we have right now. Because the problem is we do not recognize one another's pain because we're so afraid of our own. And for you to be close to someone in pain means you have to be close to your own pain. Because as humans, we're meant to connect. And if you can't connect with yourself, you can't connect with other people, not on the deeper level that as human beings, we desire. To tell yourself to be grateful for the crap that's thrown on you, because if you don't, then you're a bad Christian. That's not in the Bible. If you're going to make the Bible your rule, if you're going to make the Bible the thing that you live by, that's not there. Shut up and be quiet. Sit down and be thankful. Don't make a noise. Don't be a thorn in the side of authority. Don't call out for just treatment for people. That's not biblical. And if you are someone who is telling people that's what the Bible says, you need to stop talking. There are very few things for me as a therapist that are heavier than someone who routinely and throughout their lives have denied their own needs and their own fears, their own trauma, and their own pain in order to make everyone else comfortable. What I am is the person that watches and the person that sees and the person that calls out. So what I'm watching and what I'm seeing and what I'm calling us out on is the idea that sit down and be happy, be quiet and like what you get. Don't deal with your pain. Don't deal with your issues. Don't indulge in your emotions. Has gotten us to a place where we cannot tolerate other people's emotions either. And we can't tolerate other people not following those rules because, well, we have to follow them, so why shouldn't you? Those rules are crap. You shouldn't follow them either. So that's it for toxic positivity today. If you have other things you want me to bring up or talk about, go ahead and drop them in the comments. Share this video, share the other videos, subscribe, all of the things. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.